All right, so the Colfax City Council meeting of April 8th, 2026 is now in session. If you could please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United
States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you so very much. City Clerk, can you please take roll?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Councilmember Burris?
Here.
Joining remotely, thank you. Councilmember Douglas?
Pause 1 second.
Oh,
Councilmember Burris, can you please just announce that you're participating under the just cause exception and identify any adults who are present for the meeting with you?
Yes, so I am participating remotely with Just Cause, and there are no other adults present.
Thank you so much. And Madam Clerk, please include those statements in the record and in the minutes of the meeting.
will do. Thank you so much. Councilmember Douglas is absent. Councilmember Lohman?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Hilberg?
Here.
Mayor McCauley?
Here.
Thank you. We have a quorum.
Thank you so very much. May I have a motion to approve the agenda order?
Move to approve. Second.
You guys are going to be busy tonight over there. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, do we want to roll call on everything? Yeah, we're gonna have to roll call on everything. Sorry, my apologies. So go ahead.
Thank you. This is for approval of the agenda order. Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Lohman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hilberg,
Aye.
and Mayor McCauley.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay, thank you so very much. All right. Do we have any new statements of conflict of interest?
No changes.
No change?
No changes.
Okay, thank you so much. Apparently that's my phrase for tonight. Our consent calendar, all items listed on the consent calendar are considered routine in nature and will be approved by one blanket motion with a council roll call vote, unless a council member or a member of the public would wish to pull something on our consent calendar. Items pulled will be addressed after we complete the rest of the consent calendar vote and would require a separate motion. Do we have anybody that wants to pull anything from the consent calendar? Nope. Okay. Do we have anybody from the public that wants to pull something from the consent? Nope. All right. Can I get a motion then?
So moved. Oop, oh, go ahead. So moved. Second.
All right. Roll call.
Thank you. Councilmember Burris,
Aye.
Councilmember Douglas, absent. Councilmember Lohman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Hilberg,
Yes, aye.
Mayor McCauley.
Aye.
Thank you. Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right. Let's start with our committee or agency reports. Placer County Sheriffs.
Good evening. How's everybody doing tonight? Good. Sergeant Toby Williams, Placer County Sheriff's Office. Our statistics weren't up on my board today, so I had to kind of hand count some. So of note, we were actually up significantly on calls for service, both proactive and reactive for the month of March at 229. We had 23 traffic stops, 16 of those in the city, and then the other 7 were actually just right outside the city limits. 2 arrests, 15 reports, and I've been getting some word that there are some undesirables, problem children, however you want to define it, kind of rearing their heads throughout the cities a little bit. And we're going to try to amp up a little bit of the extra patrols in and around the gazebo area, excuse me, and around the rail yards and whatnot to try to discourage them from loitering and doing whatever it is that they do. So bear with us as we transition in kind of the summer months and try to amp up some of those patrols as we move forward. So other than that, does anybody have any questions?
Could you ask your deputies to keep an eye on the RV that is currently parked on blocks in the parking lot behind the freight depot as well?
Freight depot?
Yeah,
Okay.
right there. It's on the far side from the other side of the gazebo. There is a little RV camper and there's no overnight parking right there.
You got it.
Thank you.
No problem. Anything else? Excellent. Thank you very much.
All right. It doesn't look like CHP is with us this evening. So Placer County Fire, Cal Fire.
Good evening, Yoshpe White with CAL FIRE Placer County Fire, and I've brought with me Battalion Chief Ryan Brigard, who is our newest battalion chief to this area. I'll allow him to introduce himself, but he'll be covering the 7th day of the week with Clint and myself covering 6 days of the week. He'll be assigned to the Placer Center, and I'll let him talk a little bit about that. Couple of nothing significant in the Colfax area, a couple of escape control burns. No significant acreage has been burned as of late. That wetting rain slowed things down quite a bit, but it has dried out. I went up and looked at some fuels burning today up past Alta, and things are burning very hot. So it didn't wet significantly. They've dried out pretty quickly. We'll see what this rain shows this weekend. As far as how long, I know the question everybody tends to ask is when are we the burn ban going to go into effect? But the direction from the unit chief is to allow folks to do the right thing to burn as long as possible. So we're monitoring that every week and getting a handle on what's happening with the control burns and how many escapes we're getting and how large those are getting as we determine each week if we're going to continue open burning or not. Anything from me? Okay.
Great.
Ryan, would you like to introduce yourself? Tell a little bit about yourself.
Good evening. As Chief White said, my name is Ryan Burgard. I'm a third generation Placer County resident. I live in the Newcastle, South Auburn area. And I came here from Santa Clara. Previously, I was battalion chief in Santa Clara and I transferred up here. And before that, I've worked in different Schedule A contracts throughout the state of California. I started with the department in 2006 and this is where I've ended up. So if you guys have any questions, as he stated, I'll be B shift Battalion 13, which is going to be covering Colfax and Alta. And then I have the Placer Fire Center and the Fuels crew. So the Placer Fire Center is in Christian Valley. So I can answer any of those questions for the Fire Center as well.
Welcome. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, and do we have any, doesn't look like we have any of the nonprofits here, but I'm gonna move my table at that point. I'm gonna go over there, so. All right, so Caroline McCauley with Colfax Railroad Days. And as we all know, the big boy event is happening on Sunday. Everything's looking good. They haven't had any issues on its travels. It is currently up in Portola. It's been there all day long, and it will be moving tomorrow down to Roseville. So our event starts at 10 o'clock and it goes till 1:30. The train is anticipated to be here at noon, so 12 to 12:45. We have our local band Malarkey will be playing the whole time. We have a couple different vendors that'll be there. Everybody from West Coast Trains in Chicago Park, who's giving little HO train cars to all kids under 10. Some of our craft vendors, and also I know Kat from the Animal Sanctuary will be there as well. And we have food, everything from Philly cheesesteaks and mini donuts and tacos, everything will be there. And I'm thrilled to say most of our businesses downtown have chosen to be open. So both Snapdragon, the Wrecking Crew, Creative Corners, everybody's going to be open to be able to take that overflow and get some extra business and be well known. So rain or shine, the event will happen and it will be a lot of fun. So hopefully we'll see you guys all there. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, we do have a presentation this evening regarding the draft Placer countywide active transportation plan. Got it. So we have that update to make into the agenda that there was a typo on it, but it is the active transportation plan. And we will go ahead and kick that off. All right, Corey Peterson with PCTPA.
that explains why I was so quiet. Sorry about that. Yeah, so we start out with looking at our existing network, move into what exactly we want our network to look at, come up with goals, and how do we make it happen. So this is where we get into the implementation side, doing conceptual drawings, coming up with plans on what grants that could be pursued for different projects. Next slide. So we have 4 of our jurisdictions that are participating in this plan, City Colfax being one of them. We're working closely with their staff as well as Placer County, Lincoln, and the town of Loomis. And then we have the other 3 cities that are preparing their own active transportation plans that we've been working very closely with to integrate the results from those plans as well. Next slide. So starting at laying the foundation is really doing a lot of data analysis, looking at our existing network, understanding how it's used. We used cell phone data, big data to look at travel patterns, where people are walking and biking now in Placer County. The map there on the right shows what we call a level of traffic stress metric. So essentially it's how comfortable would somebody be riding on a particular road. In this case, because Placer County is very mountainous, this is not something that is normally done, but we actually integrated terrain into the equation as well. And so, you could have a low traffic street that has a 20% grade and nobody's going to ride up that because it's extremely steep. Next slide. And how this looks particularly in Colfax is we were trying to overlay, where there's destinations within town, so the downtown, historic downtown area, the grocery store, the post office, schools, and how can we match that up with existing and proposed facilities like those bike lanes and bike paths and try and connect all of the dots together. Next slide. We did a pretty robust round of community engagement. We went out in the summer of 24 and in 25. First time we were mainly asking the public for feedback on where they would like to walk and bike, where they feel unsafe doing so. And that's what you see there on the right is some of the lines and points that are drawn all over the map. The second time we asked for feedback on our draft network, which I'll get to in just a second. And in both times we went to Colfax Farmers Market and had a booth popped up there and was able to talk to quite a few people there. We also had online surveys and interactive maps and held 4 virtual workshops. Next slide, please. And so that resulted in what we're calling our proposed network. And really this is, this is kind of it's a vision document. So it's not particularly tied to particular funding. It's not fiscally constrained is what we call. And I guess in, planning spheres, it's not, contained within a certain amount of funding. This is a vision for what the network could look like. And so, one of the ones I wanted to point out is the little blue line in the middle of town, is the Bunch Creek Trail project from going down Railroad Street towards the grocery store. And then we also worked on a couple of projects on Canyon Way and South Auburn Way, which I'll get to later in just a second. We worked pretty closely with your staff, with Ron and with Carl, the city engineer, to vet these projects. Next slide. And we also did it for pedestrians as well. So looking at mostly sidewalk infill projects and of course the off-street trails like Bunch Creek. Next slide. And then we went in and prioritized them. And essentially we used a set of criteria that focused really on safety and connectivity and looking at how we can score these projects to come up with a game plan for what could be implemented here in the future and with what funding. And so those were then put into tiers. Projects included both bicycle and pedestrian elements because, we recognize if you're doing a project in an area, it can have some benefit of doing, things together at the same time. And then we also, again, reviewed these with Ron and with Carl and with the other jurisdictions as well. Next slide, please. We also looked at some non-infrastructure items as well. So looking at recommending safe routes to school programs, grant application supports from either PCTPA or potentially from SACOG. These are things that we already do pretty routinely. Looking at e-bike education. I know that's a topic that comes up a lot is all these e-bikes that are popping up everywhere, especially I call them basically their motorcycles. The really fast electric fat tire bikes, and it's a really big safety problem. Also looking at regional wayfinding and traffic calming as well, and on kind of the motoring side is, slowing down traffic also has benefits for active transportation. Next slide. So then here's where I wanted to really hone in on kind of how we want to help the city be positioned to go after grant funding as we worked with the city to pick a couple of projects. In this case, we focused on South Auburn Street and Canyon Way and look at what could be possible along these corridors, do conceptual drawings that can be used directly for grant applications to go after funding to implement these projects. Next slide. So right now we have a draft report out. Its comment period is open until April 24th, and I encourage everyone to visit our website. It's pctpa.net/ATP. There's a link you can view the report, and feel free to send any comments to me. If you go to the next slide, my contact information is on the screen. Please feel free to reach out if anybody has any questions or comments. And that concludes my presentation. Happy to take questions.
Thank you very much. We'll start with any questions from the public first. And if you do have them, please come up to the podium so that those at home can hear as well. No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Harry.
Harry Anderson. Do you provide any training to the bicycle people so they understand not to wear black clothes and no safety reflective stuff or anything like that? Because they make great targets unknown. You can't even see them. And the other thing is in Rockland, they have a lot of their stop signs and yield signs have the flashing lights. I don't know if that's something you could assist in payment to Colfax so that we'd have a little safer turnout for people. Because obviously they're not the smartest people in the world when they get in those situations. So do you offer any kind of assistance to take care of that?
Yeah, so on the first question in regards to education, that's not something we provide directly. Certainly, it's one of our recommendations then when I say we, I say like, PCTPA or other types of agencies look at funding to do educational programs. There are a lot of really good nonprofits in the Sacramento area, like Sacramento Area Bicycle Advocates, that do education and outreach programs like that. I know that SACOG has done education programs on bicycle safety as well. On the second question, so that actually does not relate to this plan, but it's interesting. But since you brought it up, I actually am going to be working with the city on we're calling a comprehensive safety action plan that's going to be looking at roadway safety specifically. And that is something that those flashing stop signs would fall into, and is actually a very good low cost way to help increase yield compliance and stop signs, especially in rural areas. So.
Do we have any other questions from the public? All right, then I will bring it over to the council for any questions or comments.
I'm just, wondering, what, if any, partnership that you'll be having with the sheriff's department? And that's in the context of safety, because it's getting pretty wild around here now.
Yeah. So we're definitely in contact with the sheriff's department. So I used to sit on a separate but kind of related committee that dealt with safe routes to school issues. And so that committee included members of, PCTPA, the cities, Placer County Health and Human Services, and the sheriff's department. And so one of the members of that committee was the traffic sergeant down in Loomis. And so we often talked about these safety issues especially regarding e-bikes. And that's why I brought it up before. So yeah, the short answer is yes. We routinely talk to the sheriff's department as well.
And I was glad to see on your list of priorities that safety came first. I assume you're serious about that, so that's a great thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Like you pointed out, they're basically motorbikes now. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
On that same subject, I know in some jurisdictions, the police have gone and done presentations at the schools. Is that something that you do as well, or you can connect us with somebody? I don't know if the sheriff department has a team that will go do that, but if our schools were interested in it, do you have somebody that would be the best contact for that?
We do not.
Okay.
I may know somebody or know somebody that knows somebody. So I can look into it and I'll get back to you or work with with
Yeah,
Ron.
just let Ron know.
Yeah.
This would be great for us just to be able to forward to the schools to say we would strongly request that you maybe consider doing this, so.
Yeah, and I know there was, so Placer County Health and Human Services did have some funding to do bike education programs like that. Unfortunately, the funding was cut in the One Big Beautiful Bill. So that program kind of ceased to exist. I'm not entirely sure where it's gone since then. So that's something that's something I can look into.
I'm gonna get,
Oh, I just wanted a quick story on those flashing red stop signs. I liked them real well. I put them up in another agency that I worked at. Hung one up on the pole, got it running, grabbed my ladder, started across the street to the next place. This person ran the flashing red sign and almost killed me in the intersection. I'm not sure how much attention people pay.
I will say that there's a few of them on one of the collector streets in my neighborhood in Roseville, and you can see them from a good mile away. So, but yes, there's always that issue.
they work well as long as people are paying attention, and we know how that goes, so. All right, if we don't have any other questions or comments, we're good. Thank you so much for your time. We are gonna backtrack real quick, if everything's okay with it, back to agency retorts, because our Caltrans representative has joined us, so yes. Sean, please come on up and give us some great information. Is the green light on the base?
I can hear you now. Thank you.
Okay, so there's a button I have to push. Okay. Can everybody hear me now? All right, perfect. So April is typically when we kick off our construction season. And I just do want to let you guys know there's a lot of projects on 80 right now, just because of the road conditions and a lot of the deferred maintenance over the years. So we have a couple bridge replacements that are being done. We have a lot of retaining walls that are coming in. We're going to be constructing a truck climbing lane so that we can improve the truck flow, on 80, because a lot of times, as you guys know, what happens is, the trucks get in, the furthest to right lanes, and they kind of clog up the traffic, especially when they try to get around each other. So there's a couple of those problematic areas on 80 where we're widening to improve the operations. And then there's a lot of resurfacing that's going on, new signs, et cetera. I did, to Caroline, I provided some links, that kind of graphically show all of our projects on 80 that are, you can basically sort by county and by district. We're District 3. And you can sort by county, and it shows you all the projects that are going on in all the different phases. So it's really nice. It shows it a lot better than I can explain. And then there were some specific questions last time I came about the Blue Canyon project, which has 3 segments, and I provided the project report from that and some plans because there were some questions about the exact extents, where the retaining walls are going in, where we're widening. So those are available now, and I'll be around to answer questions. But I guess I'll just open it up, see if you guys have any specific questions for me about, what's going on or other unrelated issues.
Well, Harry right here is the one who'd asked about the bridges.
Yeah.
We talked about the repairs, so if you want to go ahead and just address that, because I haven't had a chance to talk to him about it, so.
Okay. Yeah, so we have, I think, the Weimar, I don't forget if it's the undercrossing or the.
It was the bridges and how often they were inspected.
Oh,
that question.
Right. So we inspect our bridges every 24 months to 48 months. And the reason why I give a range is it depends on the age of the bridge, what type of structure it is. If it's a bridge that's had some kind of accelerated deterioration, then we inspect it more frequently. If it's a brand new bridge, for example, everything is good, it's up to current standards, then it's inspected less frequently. So, every 24 to 48 months, that's how often we inspect them. You did have concerns about, I think, the bridge bouncing, right? The vibration. Yeah, what I will say, it is a little bit unnerving, but it is normal for the bridges to bounce. When you get the trucks going over, the big 18-wheelers. If, there were structural issues with it, they would be coming out and inspecting it more frequently. But yeah, it's normal for them to bounce like that. Did you have any other particular concerns about the bridge besides that? Okay. So I'm not familiar with that bridge specifically. Is it a steel bridge, with the steel beams underneath, or is it a concrete bridge? You see a lot of concrete. Okay. Okay, cool. I can look at that one specifically. I can, after this, I can pull up the maintenance logs and take a look and see when was the last time they inspected it. But I haven't heard any problems with that bridge specifically. We have our bridge program advisor, and he kind of interfaces with the headquarters people who are kind of specialized in doing all the bridge inspections across the state. So I can reach out to them. Okay.
Fantastic. Do we have any other questions or comments from the public for Caltrans? Do we have anything from the council? Go ahead.
With the construction season picking up and a lot of anticipated construction on Highway 49, the Colfax exit usually sees a major impact, especially at our high traffic times
Yes.
in the evening. Is there anything Caltrans can do to help with that issue? Maybe use the signs just to notify the traffic's backed up, or put a truck out there to warn traffic, because we're getting traffic backed up a half a mile on the shoulder.
Right.
For people trying to get off, and it's creating a really dangerous situation with the trucks passing and stuff.
So when that becomes an issue, and I know it does happen, we can reach out to our construction folks, and they can kind of assess whether it needs it, and we can have the contractors put additional warning signs to just let people know. I will say, over the next couple of years, until we kind of get through this glut of projects, it's we're going to have to ask for you guys' patience. I know that's not always the easiest thing to do when you guys, got to get to school, got to get to work, and, doing all your things, but, we'll just have to be a little bit patient. But, if there are problem areas, we can deal with that.
Okay. It's mainly the Colfax exit, usually from about 3:30 to 5 p.m. There's just so much traffic flow coming through there trying to get on 174 to go out to Grass Valley, Nevada City, because they're not wanting to use 49 coming up the hill.
You said that was in the afternoons?
Yeah.
Like about what time?
Usually about 3 to 5:30.
Okay.
6
Yeah.
o'clock.
Rush hour type of traffic.
During that rush hour time. So even getting the signboards lit up saying traffic's backed up, if we're getting backed up, because it'll stay backed up for that entire 3 hours.
Okay.
Onto the freeway.
Okay. I can reach out to our area construction engineer, and they're probably aware of it, but at least letting people know would be good, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Let people anticipate taking either the Weimar exit or the Canyonway exit, and help alleviate some of that traffic flow.
Yeah,
probably.
definitely. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, I'll look into it. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
I do. This is something that I expect will take you some research.
Sure.
I just drove across the Rocky Mountains on Interstate 70. And especially at higher elevations, I saw these big red signs in the fast lane. And I was wondering what they were about until I finally got a good look at one. And it's an image of a big rig with a diagonal line across it, which means that the big rigs can't use the left lane at all. And the result of that was that the big rigs themselves did a better job of managing their own traffic flow than I've ever seen before. And essentially you'd see a slow big rig followed by a handful of big rigs right behind it because they couldn't pass.
Right.
but it really worked very well because especially when there was only 2 lanes, all the big rigs are in the right lane and going slower than they'd like to. And I believe that if they were left to police their own industry, we wouldn't see those slow trucks on the road anymore. That's just my thinking, but I'd like to know if you could please do that, determine in I-80, at least in our own county, if not further, could we do the same? Could we restrict big rigs from the left lane? One of the things that made me think that way is I read years ago about a bridge in New Jersey where the traffic would bind up and they kept adding lanes without making the road wider. And the more lanes they added, the worse it got until finally somebody had the idea of let's go back down to 4 lanes. And once they did that, the traffic flowed freely because they weren't afraid, right? Anyway, I'd really like to know, is that possible that we could restrict the big rigs and the fast lanes on I-80 over the Sierra? And I realize the trucking industry won't really be wildly in favor of that.
Yes.
But it works. And I saw it in action and I was pretty impressed.
So I believe it's a legal issue when there's only 2 lanes, for example, in a single direction. I don't think we can legally, prohibit them, unless we change the laws, right, from passing each other, because that's obviously, where the the backups occur. I can look into it a little bit, do a little bit of research, like you suggested I might need to, but I believe it's, we can't legally prohibit them. I know a lot of times we post signs that say, slow moving trucks, keep right. And we are building these truck climbing lanes in the problematic, steep grade areas, where they really get bogged down and have to drive really slow. And the differential in speed between, the fast moving traffic on the left and, the slow moving trucks on the right, that's, it can be really dangerous.
I know it's an interstate highway and it was in the state of Colorado.
So you
Perhaps they had
mentioned
different laws.
I-70.
I-70, yeah.
Do you know when you drove through there, how many lanes in a single direction there were? Was it just 2?
It varied. There were as many as 4, but
Okay.
I saw 3 or 2. And then once we started coming down the mountain, then they took those big red things out of the left lane. And so the big rigs could go left, but they typically don't need to going down. But
Right.
going uphill, it really mattered.
It does because, because the big rigs, even though they're, powerful, they just get really bogged down. They don't have the, as much power compared to, say, a passenger vehicle that's only carrying, 2, 3, 4 people. I'll look into that, but I think it's more of a legal issue. We can't, legally force them to only use the right.
This would be, I'd be also curious whose law that would be, whether it's fed or state or what it is, because Colorado did it.
I know it's a state issue because on our state highways, local agencies don't have the authority to change change or police the the traffic flow.
Thank you.
Yeah, very welcome.
All right. Well, thank you for your time. We
Thank
much
you very much.
appreciate it. Oh, did you have something else, Harry? Go ahead.
Yeah, please.
Hi, Harry Anderson. Is there a maintenance schedule of driving our little 4 square mile exits and looking at the no paint on the ground and the broken, what do you call those things? The metal things that they hit and it's supposed to bounce off?
The kind of the reflectors.
No, the actual bridge, what, guys, what I'm talking, guardrail, thank you, yeah. The guardrail that somebody totaled. We've got a bunch of those in town and we only have 2 exits and on-ramps here.
So is it at the on-ramps and exits?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And then the other part of it is the lower bridge here in Colfax, there's absolutely no paint on the ground. 0, gone, nothing. You stop wherever you want to stop. And that's the part that, like the new roundabout, the paint's gone on that thing.
Which roundabout was that?
Ours, right here in town.
In town?
Yeah, and it's not that old. I don't know if it's just the no lead paint or what the hell it is, but it's gone.
Well, So I know one of the issues specifically, up, this elevation is that, because we have to plow the roads.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I
then
get this.
scrape up the paint.
I've lived here 37 years. Trust me, I get it.
I know. One of the strategies that we'll use for that is we'll recess all the paint. We'll, cut a groove into the pavement, and then we'll put, the stripe down there.
Oh, so that the scraper doesn't take it off.
Yeah, so when it
That and the
scrapes,
chains, yeah.
but then, that can get obscured
Yeah.
sometimes by the snow and the ice. Not perfect.
Are you out of Marysville?
I am, I live in Woodland, but I'll go up to Marysville, that's where our headquarters is, but we work there like twice or 3 times a week, and we're home twice a week.
So are you, what is your district? How big do you cover?
So right now, I'm mainly, Plosser and Nevada 80.
Okay.
It's kind of, all my projects are along there, although I have a few other projects here and there.
We have a great truck lane going up the hill past us, but the one that drives everybody nuts that lives here in town is the one right past Applegate. Where it goes from 3 lanes to 2, and you make the curve, and then all of a sudden it's truck races where there's one's going 24.4 miles an hour, the other one's going 25.6 miles an hour, and they're trying to see who can get up the quarter-mile grade first, and it's insane.
It might be one of the areas that we're working on.
God, I hope so. I know UP is going to be upset because that thing is right next to their territory, so something's got to give.
So the project we're working on that one, that's the quote unquote Blue Canyon project. It's going to be, so we've awarded the project. The contractor is going to be, Hiker in a joint venture with, well,
One of the big shots.
who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big project. And we're waiting to get the approved contract.
Right.
And then, it'll have a few months to order materials, put together all their construction schedules, things of that nature, and then they'll be getting started.
To give you an idea of how much experience I have on I-80,
Mhm.
when I moved here, I-80 didn't go through Auburn.
Yeah.
Which I couldn't believe coming from Southern California where
Was it
there
the-
were 6 lanes for
The old-
everything.
The old detour, the old route.
Yeah, and then so the year it says 1988, that's the year that it finally went through like a real interstate. And I get the stuff up the hill and certainly we go to Nevada, we all experience, all of it. But the major frustration for us is coming around that turn and taillights and trucks, and it's like the one up the road that they did a couple years ago, fantastic.
Yeah.
But the one down here, it's like nobody does anything about it.
We'll get to it.
Yeah.
They'll get to it. They're working on it.
Our current director for District 3 and the previous one of his top priorities was trying to alleviate, all this
Right.
congestion because of the truck traffic. And so his strategy has been, to get these truck climbing lanes to,
If you have time to go back home tonight, just drive it to the lower bridge and just look on each side of it. There is absolutely, I'm not kidding, no paint.
okay. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Totally believe you. We do have maintenance people and they do come out and kind of assess these things, but, I guess, our budget for maintenance and, their ability to come out and inspect everything as frequently as, yeah, exactly. I can bring that up to them, see if they can send someone out to take a look at it. Yeah, exactly. So appreciate the feedback.
All right, then I think we're good. Thank you very much for coming up. Enjoy your visit with your daughter.
Awesome. Thank you. I will. Appreciate it.
All right, so we will go right back onto schedule with our public comment. Every member of the public has the opportunity to address the city council for comment when appropriate time for public comment is called, which will be now. You may speak to the council on any item that is not on the agenda. The council cannot act or discuss at this time. However, we can direct questions to staff to follow up on later if needs be. So if you have any public comment for anything not on the agenda, please come to the podium, make sure the green light's on, speak your name clearly, and you have 5 minutes.
Hi, Chris Boyce. I recall, I think the last meeting, they talked about there was going to be announcement of the Big Boy event, or I'm sorry, the hotel on Facebook and during the Big Boy event. I think there's been a couple announcements that have been on Facebook. And I was just going to ask for people that aren't on Facebook if there's some way we could post relevant information either on the website or on a newsletter or mailing list, or if that's already available and I'm not aware of that. Just something so that people that aren't on Facebook can have access to that information.
So I can tell you that they have been invited to come to a presentation at one of our council meetings in May to kind of give us an update on the plans and where they're going from there. So that once that's on the agenda, we can let everybody know. And that, of course, gets broadcast to everybody when we do the meetings. I will also say that they will be at the Big Boy event and they intend to have some storyboards out of what their plans are on display. So it's a great place to be able to talk with them as well. The extent of, announcements we can make right now is they've submitted their final plans and they're under the final review. So.
Perfect. I appreciate that. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Can we maybe add a link to their website if they're updating it?
They haven't updated anything, but I think we can. Yeah, once they have something that's substantial on there, I think we could probably do something like that. They're still working on building the stuff that's being released to the public. They've just barely started on it, so. But yeah, they said they are invited to come to a presentation to the council for everybody in May. So we'll keep you apprised on it.
I think my request is more general in that there's been other things. I think the like branding and economic committee, there are things that are posted on Facebook that I can't find other places. And I just request that things that are kind of council business be generally publicly available, not just on Facebook.
I will say the working and improving the website is on the list of things to work on.
Yeah, and I don't want to make, I'm not expecting everyone to post everything on that. Don't want to make a lot of more work. I just want to make sure that if there's information that people are interested in, that's available to them. So that's all. Thank you.
Harry Anderson, local troublemaker. How you doing? Picture. Questions that billboard leaves me wondering. And I don't say this to be critical. I mean, whoever did it, I don't know, and I don't care. All I care about is we get the results we want. And so in looking at that, of course, not everybody knows what a big boy is. Maybe, I do. Coming from Southern California, it was a hamburger. So, that's really the question. So I took the liberty talking to my partner the other day. And we came up with a draft. I gave him a pencil drawing of what I wanted. And 2 hours. At 65 miles an hour, which is slow in day especially going downhill. Going up the hill, they're not a whole lot slower either. And that tells us what the big boy is, why the celebration, and where it is. And I know that the billboard people can get it done like that. We can submit it to you and we're donating it to you. So. See. Somehow, some way, we have got to get past this apparent personality problem. And I came into the city hall the other day and I asked a question. Trinity, are you here?
Yes, I am.
Okay. This is about the January 6th deadline for the committee.
Yes.
Okay, and I submitted and then we found out that I was the only one that submitted. if I recall that correctly? Is that right?
There were others. It was a very minimal amount. It wasn't enough to fill the committee yet, so we're gonna need more.
Okay, well, I asked at that time, was that 19-page application handed to the city council? And they couldn't tell me, yes or no. So in front of God and country and public, here's the application. And I'll take you through it real quickly. I have mine highlighted to go. You don't need to worry about the first 3 pages. But if you go to the 4th page where there's a collage of accounts that we do in town. Okay. That kind of speaks for itself. And then if you turn the page, of course, you see the Applegate that we did. That's us. We did that for the Applegate billboard right there. If you go a couple pages, oh, and then the next page after Maddie's freeway billboard, then we did the Mount Vernon Grange down in Auburn. We've done them. And they were so excited when we gave them our pricing that they did 3 times as much stuff as they would have done because they had pricing from other people. It was ridiculous. So we picked up that account. And to your point, Madam Mayor, about making things more professional, there's an outdoor advertising page. And it has the A-frames complete with the inserts and what the feathers, the flags, and the pricing on that. So if you have a business you want to talk to about opening and presenting themselves professionally, we can do that. Affordably.
Thank you, Harry.
And I'm not quite done. Just
Well, your 5-minute time is up, but thank you very much.
I would just like to simply say, if you go to the last couple pages, you will see that there are letters of recommendation from many different types of businesses, both local and national. And what I'm trying to say is, and we even do.
Okay, that's Harry, your 5 minutes is up. Thank you very much.
All I can say is that whatever it's going to take to get this problem
Okay.
solved,
Thank you.
we need to do it.
Thank you.
Okay? For the good of the city.
Okay, thank you. Right, do we have any other public comment this evening? Nope. Okay, then we will move right along. We're just about done for the evening. We will go into council and staff. So we will start with our committee reports. Trinity, do you want to go ahead and kick us off with that?
Sure, I have nothing to report tonight.
Well, there we go. All right, Sean.
Just did a LAFCO meeting before I got here. Still looking for an executive officer. And next month is our last meeting on the rotation till I think 2030. So or 2032. So we'll just be attending as audience members. Let's see. Pioneer had their audit and finance committee meeting, attended a skate park meeting, talked about inspection schedule and finalizing all the costs and what we have in donations and tightening that number up to make sure we know exactly what we need and exactly what we're taking on. And let's see. Also had the Fire Safe Council meeting, and at our next meeting, we'll be talking about this community wildfire protection plan. So it's really important for us to try to get a couple more projects on that plan for the county so that they can start prioritizing some of the stuff on the outskirts of town. And that's all I had.
Larry?
I was out of town the entire 2 weeks since our last meeting. So I do have a busy week coming in next week. But I was hoping and expecting that we'd see a couple things tonight. Is this the right time to bring them up? No, I'll wait till go to the order. Yeah, I was gone, but this coming week a busy meeting.
Did you want to talk a little bit about Bob's offer to donate to move the caboose?
Well, I've been talking with Bob Lobner now for many months. And Bob is somebody whose family has been in business in this area for a long time. And he told me he was interested in basically a legacy for his family and was willing to do some significant investing in downtown Colfax to make that happen. And one of which is enough funds. And he even went out and found somebody to do it. Although I don't know that the city would select that person, but to move the caboose over there onto the grass by the station so it could be supported better and open more often. And also a playground in the area, a small playground in the area where the caboose was, and adjoining that, a kiosk with a solar roof and signage about Colfax and picnic tables in the shade, and a place where parents could watch with the solar panel providing electricity to charge their phones and to provide Wi-Fi support. So yeah, I put a lot of time into that. I missed that meeting according to being out of town, but I will be there next week. Yeah, that's a big thing, I think. It'll be really great for downtown Colfax.
Thank you very much. Let's see, I attended a meeting last week. There is an organization that has started a youth coalition in Grass Valley and in Auburn, and it's it's a brainstorming coalition in the beginning to figure out what other things might be ways to support our youth. And they're interested in applying for a grant that would apply to Colfax. So several members from the community met with them recently to see if it would be a good fit. So hopefully we'll see where that goes. We did have the meeting that in regards to the caboose with Bob from his antique store up the way. And yeah, he is 100% ready to help us get that moved. So hopefully we'll be able to see that come to fruition very quickly. At a SACOG meeting, and then I actually got to speak to the SACB this morning in regards to the entertainment zone that we will be discussing more next week. So that's about it.
Just one more time, I'll bring it to attention that the Colfax Hotel, the Lowrys have dropped off their construction plans. And they're filming everything as they go to make a documentary. So the dropping off their plans will be in their documentary. They spend a little time at the counter and we shared ideas back and forth. The maintenance team has been out gearing up for the big boy event. So you see them cleaning up the area, getting that ready. They've been doing some work on the irrigation in the outdoor dining area or seating area. They're going to start to rehab the restrooms in the Roy Tom area. They were getting pretty beat up inside. So new paint, new floor, that kind of thing. And they're just continuing to ready this city park spaces for spring and summer usage. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. There are no items on our council business, so we will move right on to good of the order. So anything that you would like to add? Well, Trinity, do we want to start with you for good of the order?
I have nothing for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Sean?
I got to be the talkative one tonight. The skate, we may be calling a special meeting if we can get everything together for the skate park next week. We're really close to finalizing everything and we really want to get it on the construction schedule and ensure that we get to keep our donations and get everybody's time going. So hopefully we'll have everything finalized by then, or by Monday, Tuesday next week. We'll be able to put out for a special meeting to address that. Also, I just wanted to acknowledge all of Ron and Caroline's work to help get the hotel finally moving. I know there's been lots of meetings, lots of discussion, lots of give and take, and thank you very much for all the time you've put in with the Lowrys to help them get this project going. Major work. So that's all.
Can we go ahead and kind of tentatively schedule a meeting for next week so we can make sure we've got a date that's going to work? And I'm not sure when you would need to publish that. Would we publish it on 24 hours? 24 hours? So do you want to wait, or do you want to pick a date now and we can just pencil it?
I don't know if I want to put that much pressure on Carl.
Okay.
I want to be fair to him and give him the ability to do it without having to.
Okay. Wednesday or Thursdays when we were. Yeah, we would be voting to move forward, so it would be.
It'd be a council business.
Yeah.
Item.
And so ideally it would be Wednesday or Thursday. So I just need to make sure when we need to publish that, if that's gonna happen and.
Yeah, so it'd have to be Monday or Tuesday, or Tuesday at the latest that we publish it to get a Thursday. Tuesday evening to get a Thursday meeting, so.
Okay, as long as we're all on the same page with what we need.
Okay,
Okay, well, Carl will be on Tuesday
yeah,
and
that's true, 'cause
hopefully.
it'd be 5 o'clock and the meeting would be scheduled for 6, so yeah, that would work.
Okay, so we should know on Tuesday, but yeah, so Trinity and Larry and hopefully Kim will get the memo too that we may do this Wednesday or Thursday next week to get that going. So.
My good of the order question would have been, why didn't we get that on the agenda already? If, last week we had a meeting and we discussed submitting a grant, and now we're ready to approve. That seems like a lot of work had to happen.
You shouldn't be talking about the skate park from right here.
I'm just asking for it to be on the agenda.
It's going to be on a special meeting agenda. The reason, I might as well address it. The reason it didn't make it on this meeting as we pushed and pushed and pushed for was because we needed to finalize some numbers for inspection and testing. Those numbers are going to come in much lower than our initial quote. And we know they are now, but we just needed to have that finalized documentation, and the contractors that were solicited did not have time to get us those quotes, so. That'd be why we're gonna try and hit a special meeting. We want to do it before, we want to lock it in so that way we can start construction in June. Otherwise, we may not be able to make the construction schedule for new line, and we'll probably have to figure something else out for the entire project. That's a big milestone to hit it this year and before June.
I have to ask this question. Is this what we mean by transparency? Because it's not what I mean. Maybe I should go to the podium, but it seems to me like we did a whole lot of work in the last week with no council awareness, and now we're ready to move forward. I'd like to know how that happened, because I believe that should happen in discussion on an agenda in an open room, and it sounds to me like it already happened.
Well, that's what the special meeting is.
Yes.
That's bringing all the information they've been able to put together in the last week, and that will bring it to exactly what you're requesting.
And so Sean's on the subcommittee
That's not
too
quite
for
what
that.
you said.
We have an established subcommittee for the skate park work, and so Sean is on that subcommittee, so he's supposed to be having meetings and getting everything ready for it to come in front of us. So at least that's my understanding. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes, Caroline and I have been working with the contractors and the city and everybody involved to get a finalized plan that can come to council to be reviewed, to be voted on. And that's the job of any subcommittee that's doing this kind of project. So we're being transparent. We're having a special meeting to discuss what we've come up with to hopefully pull this project across the finish line. And we're really close, so.
All we talked about before was putting in a grant.
Well,
Come to this. I wish I knew how to be positive about this, but
right. Do you have anything else for good of the order, Larry?
yeah, I was hoping the last time I was wanting that we, the city, make a presentation on an agenda for the hotel project. That's what I had asked for. And we're hoping for the hotel guy to do that. I am too, because it's a incredible project. But I was hoping that we would learn from our own subcommittee, if you want to call it that, to tell us what was going on from the city's perspective. So I would just request that again.
And I think that's what you'll have when they come. We'll do it all in one thing, because right now really it is, they've submitted plans. That's where we're at. That's what you got.
That's great.
Yep. Okay, yeah, show up on Sunday, rain or shine. That's what I got. that's about it. Come out on Sunday. Oh, I am thrilled to say that on Sunday, the American Legion is doing a color guard. So we will have a little extra pomp and circumstance to welcome the train in, and they're going to be there. They're going to bring the Boy Scouts in, and they've got a color guard and a red carpet, and they're going to do a presentation to the engineer Ed Dickens. So it's going to be another great piece of media and attraction for Colfax because it is going to be recorded, and UP will be very thrilled with it. They are very excited when this was added to the agenda for Sunday. So we are very lucky that the American Legion put this together for us to add to it. So, Ron?
Nothing more to add.
Okay, so now we get to go to public comment, but only on things that we talked about during good of the order. So do we have anybody that wants to comment on our good of the order? Nope. All right. Then we do have a closed session, so we will go ahead and close our.
Take public comment on either of the closed session items.
Oh, you're right. I apologize. So we have 2 closed session items. Do we have any public comment on those closed session items? Nope. All right, then we will go ahead and close our open session. Thanks for coming, guys. We appreciate it. Take some cookies home.